Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
With the big, bold flavour of HP sauce, making breakfast legendary.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. The gang's all here, as they used to say. You can text our little show on 8 12 15. You can follow it on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Or you can, get this, email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Does anyone email, though?
Our little show.
They have to do for the... It's a bit like last night on Comic Relief. And they said, and if you'd like to send a cheque...
I love the people
Who's going to do that?
Oh, that's fat. I want a postal order. Used to get me about postal orders is that if you bought like a £3 postal order, it was like £3 8p or something like that.
Oh, the markup on postal orders.
Oh, absolutely awful. So, is it too late to march? Is it too late to march on that one?
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed.
Okay, I've just finished my dog licence sitting. 7 and 6. Anyway, oh, what a morning I've had. I arrived at Absolute Radio at about 7 o'clock.
What a morning I've had.
And
he's already discussed the markup on postal orders.
Genuinely like talking to a pensioner today.
And now it's the morning
really
I've had.
No, but I arrived.
How old are you?
I arrived. Never ask me that again, or I'll ask you. Then you'll be sorry.
You're not wrong.
Yes, there was a large envelope waiting for me at Absolute Radio.
Lovely.
And
P45.
Oh, there's no need for that.
It's all gone a bit Clarkson. Cold platter.
Yes.
And it was a hooded top commemorating the return of Gotham.
Oh, yes, I saw you opening this.
Oh, I was very excited. I'm very excited that it's coming back. I think regular readers will know that I love Gotham.
Excited isn't the word. When you opened it, did you see this, Al?
Yes.
He opened it, took it out of the envelope, and his first one, when he saw Gotham, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't that impressive, Frank. It was just a grey hoodie with Gotham on one of the sleeves, and Frank went, look how subtle the lettering is.
Well, that was a fair point, I thought. Also, I love it. I love it when you get a garment that arrives in an envelope.
Yes.
I mean, how often does that? I suppose if you do mail order a lot, that does happen. But I don't. So, yes,
You said wow.
I was genuinely
wow.
I was wowed by it.
Yes, you were.
Are you going to wear the Gotham hoodie with the Doctor Who dressing gown over it?
I'm going to wear the Gotham hoodie when I watch Gotham on Monday night.
Oh, good. Good.
I think that's like sometimes
Natural world order.
Like my son Boz will hold. Like if we're watching Mickey Mouse on the DVD, he'll hold a Mickey Mouse.
Oh, nice.
You know, it's a bit of it's an interactive 3D sense around thing. So yeah, I might well do that. I might wear my Gotham PD police badge. Who's going to stop me? Nobody.
Well, you won't be alone, because obviously the entire nation will be gripped by Gotham.
Yeah.
Well, what is it, Channel 5?
Isn't Catwoman in it? I wear a cat suit whilst I watch it. I don't know what you guys are wearing in it. Is Catwoman in Gotham?
Well, look, Catwoman to be.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Sort of cat girl.
Right.
Is in it, yeah. And, anyway, I don't often champion television shows that aren't mine on it. I don't even champion my own, let's face it.
That's a good point, yeah.
But I think it's brilliant.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
I'm going to tell you something now, that the Gotham hoodie was not my most exciting arrival of the week.
No.
What? What's happened?
You know, in recent times, it's a bit of a regular readers will know that there was... first of all, I discovered a pen shop in Sheffield and mulled over the idea whether people actually use fountain pens
Pen shop
anymore.
in Sheffield. I'm just getting over the postal order anecdote. Please.
Yes, and then do you remember I filmed at an old ink company. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Stevens Ink.
Forget?
And then I was sent blotting paper by Ryman, so it's all falling into place.
Yeah.
For the culmination, which this week I was sent a free fountain pen.
Oh, was it from Michael Parkinson? He likes giving free pens.
He does, yeah, but that was just for inquiring.
Yeah. You have to text pen, remember?
Is a ballpoint, though.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. But, yes, I received a free fountain pen, and I must say, it was a bit special.
Was it?
It really was. It's
Have you got it?
It's called the Peerless 125.
Peerless?
Yeah.
It's peerless?
It's peerless, like Frinton on Sea.
Yeah.
And it's...
spelled incorrectly.
Yes, it's pretty remarkable. It's got...
It's turned into Alan Partridge.
I love it.
I want to tell you about this.
It's called the Peerless 125.
You know what? I never encourage freebies. I'm not one of these people who begs on here. But when they do arrive,
well, you say that you never encourage Alan and I to get freebies.
No, I often
your cup
say,
runneth over, love.
I often say, if you send me one of these, I'll burn it. But this was, I never asked for this. This was given from the, and it's what my point is. It's an 18-karat gold nib.
No.
Shut up.
For a start off.
I've heard that.
And it says on the actual carrying case, it says those carrying this pen will not be overlooked. Which I fully expect to be disproved when the next Comedy Awards are announced. But yeah, it's got an 18. I'm going to get it. I'm going to show it you
Will
guys.
you get it out?
I'll have that as a ringtone, eh? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, girls?
Hashtag orcs.
Yes. Hashtag. So, I can't get it out. No, here it is. There it is.
It is golden.
It is golden.
I said I had something golden. And
Can I be honest? You know I always will.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like it, but it is quite Qatari businessman.
Yeah, but I like Qatari businessmen.
Kind of looks like a suppository of some kind as well, doesn't it?
Is Ed Milliband a Qatari businessman?
Yes.
He sounds very Qatari to me. Look at. I'm going to show you the 18-karat gold nib. Look at that.
Show us the nib.
We are the world.
Wow.
We are the future. And also, in the top of the cap, can you see that in the top of the cap? Can you see something red glistening?
Yeah. Is it a laser?
It's a real...
not.
It's not a laser.
Oh, okay.
It looks like
Thought
one
it was
though,
like
Al.
a gadget pen. I was thinking there's...
Yeah, I'm going to do it on the back of Tony Pulis's head. No.
What is it?
It's a ruby.
No.
It is. It's a real ruby.
It's like you...
This isn't very you, is it? Come on.
pen.
I'm very
A gold
excited about it.
fountain pen with a ruby in it.
Yeah. I cannot write with it without going, you've painted up your lips and rolled and curled your tinted hair. Which is the opening line of Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town by Kenny Rogers. Do you know Kenny Rogers? No, but thanks for the tip. I'll come back to this. There's more. That's a great comic once
Have you
said.
started smoking cigars as well and complaining about room service?
No, but if that steak doesn't turn up soon, someone's going to get their head smashed in.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, the reason it's called the Peerless 125 is there's only 125 of them made.
No. Limited edition.
Limited edition.
No.
And what number did they send me? 101.
No, that's great.
Hey, marvellous.
Was that because of your little show?
Yeah, because of my little show, exactly.
That's why they sent a pen to his nibs.
Oh, I mean, come on.
Oh, I'm so glad I came in this morning.
I feel proud. I feel proud like a parent would feel proud. Isn't that what you can hear my Pope
I
and
feel like
my
I'm working
version
with-
of Guadalupe banging together.
All right.
Yeah.
Thought you just had a rattly nipple.
Yeah.
Alan?
Rattly Nipple, I think. Isn't that a small village in Leicestershire?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's very lovely, and thanks to Cross for sending it to me.
Be worth a bit. That's got to be worth a bit.
I never. It's not about the money. You should try writing with it. It glides.
Did you Google it?
You can hear it writing. You can hear.
Can you? I just...
Oh,
Can I be honest, Frank? I
That's
worry about the
another creepy
other
impression.
1, 2, 4 characters who've got that pen.
dear.
I just feel like anyone with that pen,
They're all in Kuwait. I wouldn't worry about that.
I just feel they might be capable of cruelty.
Oh well. What a new aunt. I mean, well, they might be, but hopefully not with an 18-karat gold nib. What a waste.
That's
No, it's
true.
beautiful. My handwriting has improved. You feel you want to, you feel you want to impress it.
You've got lovely writing. You've got, I'll call it priestly, your writing.
Thank you.
Not JB.
Okay.
No, just general priest.
I feel guilty about crossing out with this thing.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So it's not the sort of thing I'm going to write a note for the milkman with, I must say.
No, or vote with.
Mainly because I haven't written a note for the milkman since, 1973.
You just text him now, is it?
Do people still do that?
No.
Do they still have milkmen?
Yeah, I think they just about exist still.
Do they?
Yeah.
I haven't seen milk on anyone's step for years.
Maybe people take it in quicker.
Maybe. And the trouble is, it was always a great, it was helpful. I mean, goodness.
Yeah.
I saw a milk float the other day, and I asked him for a lift. And he said, he stopped. He said, well, where are you going?
Are you serious?
Yes, I was with my boyfriend. I was with my boyfriend and I was leaving to go to work.
Sounds like the walk of shame, doesn't it?
And he'd ordered...
Was your boyfriend hiding behind the tree and you were showing a bit of stocking top in order to get a lift? Was it one of those things?
I think you'll find the tree was hiding behind him.
And he was showing a bit of gold top.
No. And I seem to recall...
Have you dreamt this?
No, honestly, this is true. The milk float sort of slowed down and then he waved and then I said, oh, could you give me a lift? Because I was worried our cab wasn't going to arrive. And he stopped and he said, well, where are you going? Which way are you going? And then when he discovered which way I was going, he said, no, not going that way. And he drove off. I thought it was quite sweet and villagey.
It's not just leading to an enormous pun. It's actually a true story.
No, you're suggesting it's not worthy of existing as a story on its own.
I'm just
and
shocked.
it needs to have a pun as a punchline.
Well, I suppose on one level I am suggesting that. But it's just having never thought of the milkman, and you just don't, as I say, you don't see milk.
Honestly, this is not a lie. This happened.
Used to be a sign. I mean, goodness knows how many rotting pensioners there are indoors nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
No.
You know, it was the only one. It was the only signal we had.
You've never been the same since you got that gold pen.
Hashtag orcs.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
I don't know if I did a film for Tate Modern about performance art. You remember this happening?
Oh. Yes, I do.
And they paid me with hotel points. That's what they
In
paid.
a swap system?
Yeah.
Or some sort of tax dodge, isn't it?
No, I think it's... how dare you suggest that?
Next nation's disgrace.
It's... I won't take that. Yeah, I think it's because they were sponsored by Meridian or something, so that's how they paid. So anyway, so I've been sitting on them points for a while, and then we had a rare evening when Boz was out all night. Always a worry with a toddler. But I said, give it 48 hours.
Show up.
Yeah, trying that laissez-faire approach to parenting.
Exactly. You know, you don't want to smother them.
No.
Long leash,
So,
short leash, yeah.
Exactly.
Good work.
Anyway, he came back waving a glow stick. Absolutely off his bonce.
Did he have a kebab?
He'd had a kebab or two by the look of him. But anyway, no, he was at his auntie's house. So so I said, let's have a night in a hotel. So we stayed in quite a... Yeah, quite a... I would call it...
Why is Daisy laughing already and you haven't even told the story?
I don't know, it's just the idea of me in a hotel with a young woman.
This is your partner, we should say.
It is my partner, but still a young woman.
I know she is.
Yeah,
but
relatively speaking.
you made it sound dubious.
Yeah, well, I was trying to. Clearly. So, so it was what they call. I didn't realise this when we booked it. They call it a party hotel.
Oh.
And you know me. Party. But it was.
Am I allowed to know which one it was?
Yes, because I don't have any criticisms of the hotel. It was the W Hotel.
I'm familiar with its work.
In Leicester Square. And after 3 minutes in the foyer, I could see how it got its name.
My fake tanner has a residency there.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm not going to knock. It's a nice hotel, and this isn't a criticism of the hotel at all. It's more about. It's not a criticism of my girlfriend, but she's a sensitive woman. Let's put it that way. So we checked into a room, and she said, "I can hear the music from the bar." downstairs.
Oh, there's a lot of music in that hotel.
Yeah. And I said, maybe I can hear it, but it is, it is 10 to 4. I don't know if we should really go and complain. And she said, well, I think we should move to another room. And I went, oh. Anyway, I went to reception. I said, look, you can hear the music in our room. Not believing for a second that you could. But there was a hint of it. And they said, oh, we've got nothing else. And then they said, oh, we've got one room. I'll talk to the manager. And they said, yeah, we have got you another room. It's one of our suites. So we were moved, good old Kath for complaining, moved to this fantastic suite on the 6th floor or something.
Excellent.
So, result. Resultamondo. So anyway, we had a lovely
Hotel,
evening.
Resultamondo. What's happened to you?
Yeah, we had a fabulous meal at the restaurant.
Isn't it always nice to be upgraded? It's one of my favourite
I'll tell you what I
things.
don't like. I don't like being upbraided.
No.
But I like being
Heavens, no.
upgraded.
I do.
And it's weird how differently I feel about those two things when they sound almost exactly the same. That's on a
I can imagine the little smile on your face when you got into that new room.
Oh, I can't tell you. There was a big cup and saucer in there as decoration.
Oh.
When I say big, I mean one I could have stood in.
Yeah?
Yeah, brilliant. But anyway, I'll leave you on a teaser here. I woke up in the middle of the night, reached out for my loved one, and I remember I had my pyjama trousers on. No, I reached out. I reached out for my loved one, and she wasn't. She'd gone, and I thought, well, that's a bit. I wonder what's happened. Maybe she's just gone to the toilet, but then she was gone for quite a while. So I went looking, and I found her on the floor next to the toilet.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
So Kath was lying on the floor.
You're in the trendy hotel.
Yeah, next to the toilet door.
Yeah.
And happily, I could have easily fallen over. It was like I imagine if in the London Underground during the Blitz. It was like that, but instead we were in a posh hotel.
Or at a house party in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. And so it turned out that she could hear still this distant throb of a bass line. I couldn't hear. If I really, really stopped and concentrated, I could hear what I think was the movement of the planet.
Right.
But she could hear it. She was determined she could hear this sound. And that was the quietest spot in the room, she'd worked out, was lying next to the toilet door. So
So she was sleeping there?
yes, exactly, with a coat over her. Yeah, it was like I was taking in the homeless.
It's not really enjoying the full luxury hotel experience.
No,
though,
exactly.
Is it?
Well, I'm not going to lie out.
Sleeping
I mean,
on a
it is
coat
quite
on the
trendy,
floor.
this hotel.
Yes, it is trendy.
it?
I'm not saying you two aren't, but
Aren't you?
Fish out of water.
You are with
It
your
does
tone.
it does feel like that.
I
doesn't
just
it?
worried a bit about you turning up in the lobby. I thought it might be a bit like a sort of Paddington Bear at Hoist nightclub.
Well,
Hoist.
maybe, but I was, trade. No, I was happy. I was happy there. I was
Okay.
fine. It was, lovely breakfast. Even Kat says best fruit salad she'd ever had.
Nice.
But
She had to eat it in the shower, but she loved it.
but she could hear. It was supposed to be we had a night to ourselves. It was supposed to be a night of warm sensuality.
I don't want to know about the nights.
We'd had a treatment.
I don't
each.
want to know.
No, well, it
that a
didn't happen.
treatment?
There's nothing to tell you.
Is that a euphemism? We've had a
Oh, who
treatment
did you
in.
get the treatment from? I know all the staff.
It's hard to get intimate with someone who's sleeping outside the toilet.
With a coat on.
Yeah, with a coat over them. God knows I've tried a few times over the years. It's why all their colleagues stand around in a circle and go, I hate that. It's so hard to focus.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, so we had a treatment at the hotel.
What was the treatment? Because I know this is my area.
Well, it was they did my area. Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting.
There was.
I hope they ripped the plaster off quick.
No, they did.
Stop it.
It was sort of a combination of exfoliation
Oh, yeah.
and massage.
Massage. You love a bit of French pronunciation.
Massage, you mean?
And it was not.
What was your therapist like?
I'm not a big. She was nice. They're all pretty much the same, aren't they?
Au contraire, my friend.
Well, anyway, I like but whenever I'm having a treatment, I always think, what I'd really like is a shave.
Yeah.
It's the one thing. It's the only sort of, if you can call it a treatment, I've ever had done. I've had it done, I think, twice in my life. I've been shaved. I mean, I'm on about,
The hot towel.
The full Monty,
Lovely.
yeah.
Well, not the full, just the face. And it's, I really like it. It's a real treat.
You know what? I love a clean-shaven man.
Is there an absolute barber who works here who'd come in and at me on Saturday mornings?
That'd be good.
Would be.
No, but there's someone who does massage.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Oh, I bet
Loads
there
of
is.
them.
Yeah.
Loads of them. I've seen them advertising in the local phone boxes.
Have you ever? I know you're bearded now, but have you ever been shaved?
I have been shaved, yeah. A couple of
lovely,
times.
isn't it?
It's really nice, yeah.
I
Oh,
always
notice you don't ask me that question.
No.
That's the equality on this show.
Well, what puts me off is whenever you see people being shaved, like in films and stuff, they're always the barbers is always like a chill-out room for the criminal for eternity, and that's what puts me off. That people will be sitting around in there.
In reality,
tooled
it's usually
up.
empty, isn't it?
Is it?
You just turn up, especially self-employed people like us that can go during the day when, there's availability. Just pop down on a Wednesday at 10.
It's all.
You'll be fine.
Alan's gone a bit Schedule D.
How are you getting on with those postal orders?
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text our show on 8 12 15. Please do. Some have. Obviously, some haven't. You'd expect that. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. That's the modern way. Or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Less modern, cheaper. Actually, not cheaper than Twitter. Okay.
Good point.
All sorted.
We've actually received an email that I'd like to bring to your attention.
Okay.
It's entitled, Your Motoring Correspondent After More Work. That's a reference to moi, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Morning all. Last week there was a lot of chat. Neither of you were on the show last week,
No.
so I'll give you a quick précis.
Thank you.
Last week there was a lot of chat about cars and Top Gear. Shortly after, Jeremy Clarkson has been suspended for a fracas. Was Alan, as the show's motoring correspondent, trying to engineer, brackets pun intended, a move to host the show? He did mention quite often how he would like a more permanent job. Maybe the three of you could become the new presenters. Frank can give parking and reversing tips.
Yeah.
Alan could find the best value car and how to get the most out of a tank of petrol. Emily can show what it's like to be driven around. Just a thought.
Yes.
Great.
That little Lord Fauntleroy in the back.
How do you think
that
it would
work
affect
out.
viewing figures if we were given the hosting on Top Gear?
I think I might polarise people quite a lot.
But you would be good for the international sales, whereas I think our strong regional accents might not quite carry the way that the
I see, yeah.
preppy ones, they
Well,
do all right.
I'd go down well with the Qatari businessman, I think.
Keep Ed Milliband out of this.
Frank could keep his pen in his top pocket as he did the driving challenges.
I like catching the ruby. as I'm taking a smart car down the Old Kent Road.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we'd be quite good.
Well, I'm not really a car. I mean, both David Baddiel and Adrian Childs separately have told me I drive like a pensioner.
You do.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It has to be called third gear.
I'm going to have to
I
remind...
hosted it.
I don't know if I can remind you of that. No, you won't thank me for that. I
Go
might
on.
have to check with you what you said to someone who criticised you for driving slowly once.
Oh, I said yes. I said I've got a lot more to lose than you have. This was, yes, it was unkind. I said to him, if I had your job, I'd drive with one of those all-weather covers on. Who cares? People say they don't mind pulling your leg the other way. They don't want if you don't like the heat.
Although I agree with this in principle, because one of the things about the Clarkson fracas, are we calling it fracas?
Well, everyone's calling it. People who've never said fracas in their lives are calling it a fracas.
You know, I hate, coming from a middle-class background, slightly theatrical.
You hate that, did you say?
No, obviously I don't. What irritates me is I feel like someone who discovered the Smiths years ago, and then there are all these Arabies.
Yeah.
So I've used fracas for years.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But everyone, just because in the statement it said fracas, everyone has thought, oh, well, fracas, I'll go with that.
Fracas.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go with debacle, really. But,
I bet you there are people in pubs across Britain rhyming it with jackass.
But there aren't.
I bet there are. What's wrong with brouhaha?
Yeah, I like a brouhaha.
That'd have been better if there'd been a brouhaha.
Kerfuffle.
Like that. There definitely was a kerfuffle. But one of the things that has surprised me is just how many people, including the Prime Minister, and I saw Jonathan Ross on Loose Women yesterday saying, oh, he's a very talented performer, very talented broadcaster, amazingly talented broadcaster. And I think, how hard can it be? You're driving a car around and then slagging it off. It's a doddle. As long as you've got a full driving licence, you're qualified for the gig, aren't you?
I have to say,
it's not that hard, is it? I could do it.
Is there any bigger slap in the face than to be called a broadcaster? What it means is you're someone who everything you say could basically be replaced by blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's true of Jeremy Clarkson. He has said things that has made me laugh. I have to say.
Okay, are you a Clarkson apologist then?
I'm not a Clarkson apologist. I tell you what I do. He reminds me, I've watched him this week. It said in one of the articles he's made 12 million quid or something out of overseas sales of Top Gear. And he reminds, when I've seen pictures of him, he reminds me, I was once introduced by Bob Monkhouse on a show, and he said, now Frank Skinner, a man who hasn't let success go to his clothes.
I'd agree with that.
Every picture I've seen of Jeremy Clarkson this week, I've thought, yes, yes, I know what you mean.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
We're talking about Jeremiah Clarkson on Absolute Radio.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Incredibly talented broadcaster, Jeremy Clarkson.
Well, Frank was talking about his clothes. I'm going to call it his suspension chic.
What does that mean?
Well, during his suspension, what he's been wearing.
He's very quilted. I've never seen a man so quilted in the upper area.
He likes a quilted barber.
I thought you meant his face.
No.
It's aspirational. You know what that is, Frank? It's aspirational Chipping Norton set. He wants to belong to these people. He does look
very like
he never will, of course.
Live in the country or something.
He's got the Chipping Norton mud on the scuffed boot. And the jean. The jean's getting a big outing, isn't it?
It's...
He does that thing as well, you know, when he greets the press. It's a bit Andy Coulson. It's a bit honour amongst thieves, I'm one of you, really. He does the morning, gents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, he did I saw him on the news this morning doing the Harry Redknapp interview through the car window.
When the car slows down.
Yeah.
I love it when they do that.
Well, what I like about it is when they approach the press, they've already rolled down the window, so they've made up their mind that they're going to do the thing. But hey, I'm fairly confident he'll be back, though.
I'm not sure he stalled it as he drove off. I think that immediately disqualifies him for the rest of it. Oh God,
what if he'd done that?
I think the Harry Redknapp is ruined when you're in a promotional car, though, with all kind of red seat belts and things.
You know, I don't see so many of those cars. You see them on the motorway where people who would say something like Power FM, Dave Willits on drive time, and you'd see the bloke like it was all out on his car.
I'm going to get one of those. Like, imagine a smart car with Frank on the radio, all over my car.
Oh, yeah,
that'd be good.
When he was...
got to be careful
Alan.
saying that a smart car with stuff written on it would be good, because the last time you said you'd like a fountain pen, look what happened.
Well, that's true.
Now you've got a Ruby 125.
Peerless 125.
Peerless 125.
A Ruby 125 is a Corrie of some kind. Yeah, no, when I was a kid, there was a lot of cars with big things on the top. A lot of salesmen, like if people sold shoes, they used to have a big shoe on the top of the car.
Yeah.
It's all gone now.
I was in a taxi recently, and as we were driving, the metallic bit on the top fell off. We just heard this huge thump, and I went, "What was that?" And he went, "Oh, it was the taxi thing."
What, the actual sign?
I said,
"Are you sure he was a real taxi driver?"
Do you mean it's come off? And he went, "Yeah." So I went, that not a worry to you? Like, maybe another vehicle will hit it, or a bike? And he went, I'll get it on the way back. I'll get it on the way back.
He didn't stop and get it.
Didn't stop and get it, no.
So that reminds me of the story of...
I think that
was a
sounds
bit
like
loose.
a getaway driver.
It was a
not
bit loose,
taxi
you said to
driver.
me.
tremendous confidence, though.
What?
I'll get it on the way back.
Yeah.
Especially in Manchester.
Faith in you.
No, it was the Isle of Man, so it's small. He's bound to
Oh,
get
it
it on the
probably
way
would
back.
be all right there.
Yeah.
There's probably only one taxi. Who else is going to use it? No, W.H. Auden, when he was a child, apparently dropped a £5... He'd lost a £5 note when he was out with friends. And they went into a panic, and he said, oh, don't worry, we can pick it up on the way back. They'd walked across, 20 fields and stuff. And he did exactly that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some people have got that belief. I'm going to leave. All right to leave it on that. That'll be fine, I suppose. Sort of more philosophy than.
I'm not sure how we got there
Humour.
from Jeremy Clarkson, but it's happened.
It's not going to be the biggest laugh we've ever had. Let's not
What
lie.
is the biggest laugh we've ever had? That's this week's text.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in that I think I should bring to your attention. We don't normally read praise out on this show, do we?
no,
It's
don't
actually
read
quite...
praise.
we're quite bashful about such things.
Well, I just think it's reading out your own praise.
It's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Don't worry, this one's kind of got a sting in the tail, so
right.
it'll balance things
It's
out.
like, it's like when people retweet things people have said about them.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you take that from... I know you two don't do the Twitters, but I can't bear when people do that.
I mean, I do the
What
Twitters,
happened to
that's a different
modesty?
story. Morning,
I
Frank.
blame the rap fraternity.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you?
Yeah, they think it's all right to show off.
It's all gone a bit my car, my crib, hasn't it? They love a crib.
Mark Armand, I thought you were going to say.
No, that's a
Crib
whole
yourself.
other story.
Huh?
Morning, Frank. Listening to your show for the first time, my wife recommended it. You are one of the few people who I will delay my nightly shower routine for. Think showers brill. Is it scripted? As I find it hard to believe this high standard of chat is off the cuff. Thanks, Mark from Stockport, now in Norwich. I mean, even this bit's scripted, isn't it? That's the amazing thing about it, is that we have a really big production meeting and we discuss when we're going to get the W.H. Auden losing
yeah.
£5
let's not take this as a miss. This is a tremendous compliment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
We get writers in, don't we, Frank?
We get Reuters in for the topical stuff. No, well, it's we just I suppose I know I'm going to talk about my new pen. No arguing with that. Who wouldn't? I must admit,
Well, me for one, but
yeah, W.H. Auden losing a fiver. I'm going to tell you that crept up on me.
And I won't lie, the postal order material came as something of a shock to me.
Anyway, thank you. It's very
got
nice of
everything
you.
from
It's nice
W.H.
of you.
Auden to W.H. Smith's.
I'm quite, when he says he delays his evening shower, well, he delays it till the next morning so he can listen
Seems
to
that
us.
way,
Well, it doesn't make any sense. Why not have
Well,
it
he's
in the
listening
evening?
to the week before, Frank.
No, but have it in the evening when you normally have your evening shower.
Listen, we don't get that much praise. Be kind.
Okay.
Thank you,
Just
Mark.
trying to help this bloke out with his timetabling. Delay my evening shower. He meant Did he mean morning?
I don't know what he meant. I've just read what I know.
It's so hard to know what people mean.
It is.
What is meaning?
All right, Howard Jones.
That's this morning's
Hang on.
text.
Can you reread the script?
Sorry, I'll do that again. What is morning?
That's better.
Just completely misread it.
Ever since
Kill
this
that
man,
typist.
ever since this man asked whether our show is scripted, our show's gone awful. Why
Well, that's just to put him off the
awful.
scent. They're on to
has
us.
it gone so awful?
They're on to us. I've had Eddie Braben in a locked room all week knocking these out.
Frank, can I ask you something about Jeremy Clarkson?
Anything.
Oh, whoa! I don't like to put you on the spot, but I do. And I, for one, would like to know, what is your opinion, quite seriously, of the incident?
Well, as the incident as I know it, and correct me if I'm saying anything
Yes.
illegal, is that he had done a day's filming and then he went to the hotel. He he wanted steak.
And fondant potatoes.
And the producer said, we've only got like a cold plate because the chef's gone home.
Oisin Timon.
And I don't... Is this bit... I don't know if this bit is official, but I've heard it said that he slapped the man across the face.
I heard he punched him. What did you hear?
I've heard that he shouted at him for 30 minutes and slapped him or hit him.
Yes.
Right.
Now, rightly or wrongly, you can't treat producers like that anymore. And, you know, we all have to move on with the times. It's not easy at first.
Yeah.
You know, but it's difficult. I mean, there's something tremendously satisfying to know that Jeremy Clarkson, if you said to me, what is he going to have an argument about? Steak.
Steak would be
Seems so right
Yeah.
that he's arguing about steak.
Yes.
That's great.
But do
no,
you think they
can't.
should sack him?
I don't think they will, because
Okay.
I think the BBC have a tremendous record for giving their big stars little foibles.
Yes.
So I think he'll be all right. Is what I think. But I mean, put it
Noel
this way.
Edmonds has said their BBC have failed to give him the support that such a mercurial talent requires.
What's the talent, though? He doesn't do it in
Broadcaster.
reverse, does he?
Broadcaster.
He's just driving. He's just driving.
Noel Edmonds said he should have had full support from experienced brand managers. I like the idea. What do you do? I'm a brand
It's the
manager
most
for.
corporate thing anyone's ever said in their lives.
But how can you be a brand manager for like a violent chain smoker? That's what he is.
It's a little bit more than that. Anyway, I don't think you should go around hitting people generally. If I hit
Very
Daisy,
specifically.
say if I hit Daisy,
Yeah.
if I smacked her in the face because there wasn't enough Marmite on my toast, for example, you know what had happened to me? We all know, I think. Talk sport.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
We've had a few texts in. We've got various text-in plates spinning today, like, have you got a milkman? Do milkmen still exist?
Yes, do
and,
I saw one the other day.
yes.
Yes, I forgot that.
And the other one that we'll come to momentarily is
Emily nearly got a lift off one. You had a
Yeah.
taxi driver his taxi sign. Where's my fictional vehicle story?
fictional vehicle story.
It's not. I've got a witness.
I'm going to have a word with the writers about this. Don't see why I should be missed out.
I promise I'm not lying.
Morning, Frank and team. If you were to be at my door 7 a.m. Monday, Wednesday and Friday, you'd see milk on my doorstep. My next door neighbour is my milkman. Love the show. Best Mike. Oh, actually, that should have a comma. Best Mike. I don't think he's saying he's the best Mike.
No.
No.
Although...
Well, he would if he was a
might be.
rapper. Sort of
yeah,
thing
he
they
would.
say, isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Mic controller.
We've also had 714 text say...
Hold on. If your milkman is next door,
Yeah.
I wonder how that delivery happens. Does he get...
You think
Does
it's
he
next
get it
door neighbour
first,
gets
don't you?
up,
Do you get it
goes to the
first or do you
dairy?
get it last?
Oh, you get it first. Depends how much he likes you.
You'd think...
I think if you get it last, you might get what's left over. You might get a couple of crates of milk. What
Be
you
rice pudding at their house,
Oh,
wouldn't it?
God, blancmange.
714 has
That's what you want.
texted.
I'd have Nesquik ready just in case I got any extras that day.
If you had a Twitter account, I'd like that to be your little status. I'd like you to have, oh God, blancmange.
Haven't
be
had
your little
blancmange. How
bios.
long's it been since you've had blancmange?
I don't think I've ever had blancmange.
Have you never?
Don't think I've ever had
Should be. It
blancmange.
should be blancmange.
Blancmange. What?
Well, you put an accent on everything.
No, but
really
it should be
does, doesn't
blanc, shouldn't it?
Blanc.
Is it actually blanc? I don't think it sounds...
Sorry,
I
is
don't
this
know what you're
section of the
saying.
show scripted? Because it sounds like it is.
It's scripted, but in French.
It's gone awful again.
Anyway, yes.
714 has texted, we still have a milkman. Well, I say, man, we've never seen him as all communications are done online. Could be a milk robot for all I know. He's reliable, though.
Online Milko.
Online now. The
Yeah.
note for the milkman is online.
Imagine getting an email from the milkman. Milkman at AOL.com. Bit of an old school email address. Milko.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, really, what's happened to the world? Remember there's a fabulous Les Dawson joke. The first time I saw my wife, I saw her walking down the other side of the street and something electric passed between us. It was a milk float. Absolutely. One of the great jokes ever.
Can I I ask a question? I know you may feel we've got off the subject of Jeremiah Clarkson, but
Oh,
no.
yeah. We're still on.
Well, just what about those two? They've got away scot-free. I think we know which two I'm talking about. Slippery little
Hamster and,
suckers, aren't they? They
Well,
always
they
seem
didn't hit the
Teflon.
producer.
Yeah, but they never do they? They never hit the
To be honest,
producer.
they were holding his arms.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
But they actually, I think James
They were.
May said he didn't remember because he was so drunk.
He was
Oh,
blind
there
drunk,
you go. That
what he said.
excuse. They never remember, do they? Those two,
Yeah. It's like Burgess and McLean.
except in frayed bootcut jeans.
Exactly. Oh, I don't know, but look, we should, before we condemn, we should remember. I think nearly 1 million people now have signed the petition.
Yeah, I would argue that means about 59 million people haven't. So that's fine, isn't it? The country is really comfortable with him going, I would say.
I would argue 1 million people signing that petition bodes pretty well for UKIP in the general election.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, what else?
Oh, well, we've got, no, it's not quite an answer, but more a theory from 866. Hi, Frank. I think he may have meant that he delays his evening shower to watch you on TV. Now he's finally discovered this show. Maybe. Two question marks.
This is the man who said he delays his evening show to listen to the show.
Yeah.
Which I thought was this show.
He might mean one of your other comedy works,
Wow.
Oh, that's true.
do
You've
get
got
about,
so
don't
many.
you?
Well, I wouldn't. If you have an evening show, you have it last thing before bed, don't you?
No, I don't. If I have an evening
Do you have
shower, I would
when
have
do
it
you have an evening shower?
evening when it's time, when it feels like time.
I'd never ever have an evening shower.
Wouldn't you?
If I'd been egged, say it was my last. If it was my last day somewhere, I'd been flower and egged.
If you'd been gone,
You have something of a hair shirt approach to showering, though, don't you?
Hair Shirt is the name of my tailor. He's from Munich. He's a lovely chap.
You know what I mean, though, Frank. You're very in and out. You
Pardon?
don't see it as
Well,
a.
Don't say that after his story earlier about the posh hotel.
No. Yes, but I just an evening shower. The damage has been done by then. I think. What's the point? You don't want to go to bed. If I had an evening show and then went to bed, I'd still feel I had to have a shower the next morning, wouldn't you?
Well, I think it's considerate for your loved one, who I believe you referred to earlier.
Yes, but this is the thing of sleeping 3 floors away. It's not so bad. Nevertheless, anyone else?
Oh,
have we
you know
heard
what?
from?
I want to know about your medical, because you never told me about that.
Yes, I had a medical this week. When you do a
Because the last time you had one, there was a bit of an incident. I don't even want to talk about it.
well, usually if you have a medical for a TV show, you're in and out. It's they just have a look. You just put your head around the door and they say yes and sign something and that's it.
Right.
An autograph,
but
normally.
I
I know what these doctors are like.
And then I had a super thorough one, which I spoke of before on the show, which was yes, I didn't enjoy at all. It was I had to expose myself to this little man, and as I said, as he put his hand in, it was like trying to force one extra book on the bookshelf. Anyway,
One of the worst things you've ever said.
yeah, one of them. Let's do a list. No, let's not. So, and anyway, I went this week. It was a very nice lady, and she was somewhere in between the two things. So she was she did a thing which I spoke to her about this. It still amazes me that this still goes on in medicals. She did the thing where I sit and cross my legs and they hit you with a hammer.
Oh, the
Such
reflex.
fun.
Yeah, but it seems the most archaic thing that doctors are still hitting people with hammers.
It's a bit ancient Greece, isn't it?
It is. It's so. And I said to her, "Have you come up with a more modern method of testing my?" She said, "No, it's really helpful."
And you are actually a funny guy, so I hope that you kicked the other leg. Did you do that?
Finally, I thought, see, that's where you young people, you're always one step ahead. I hadn't thought of that.
I love that you're
I haven't
young.
been called a young person for a while. I'm having that.
Since you turned 40.
I'm not one to brag, but I'm very good on the reflexes. So,
Are you?
I really, my leg.
There's nothing to brag about.
It's a reflex.
It really. It
Got no
really
control over it.
I know, but it really goes. It's very I could see she was particularly satisfied. It really kicks. I mean, I daren't have my reflexes tested wearing a slip-on shoe.
No. That could be a window breaker.
Well, straight. Oh, God.
Frank, you know how you don't believe when people faint?
Yeah.
I don't believe when they have their reflex tested. I think they're doing it on purpose.
I won't have that said.
I've got some update.
Always
on that.
exaggerate these people.
Do you remember we talked about things we don't believe on? When I said average speed cameras, average speed cameras, I got a ticket from one. I've had to reevaluate the whole game.
Oh, you see.
So I think, maybe we have to just concur that.
So yours was
some
genuine.
things are true.
It is, and I'll tell you something else. It was genuine. I really do give it a good old kick.
Yeah. Flew up.
Oh, it's like the Moulin Rouge when I get my reflexes tested. But also, there's something there's something a little bit tickly and pleasant about it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love it's a little bit of excitement in my day. And do you know the lollipop stick up the sole of the foot?
Oh, God, I'm glad that's what you said.
You know that to test for chlorine.
He's gone a bit specialist interest.
You know when you test for chlorine with the toes and you run a lollipop stick right up the foot. Do you ever that
that tickles, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, but my chlorine again is absolutely top notch. It is. It virtually doubles up my foot.
Who boasts about that?
So
you're like a pterodactyl.
It's
big deal.
It's fantastic. On one occasion, my toes actually seized the lollipop stick, and they couldn't get it out. It was full on.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us on... I'll just let you get your pencils. 8 12 15. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Oh, I got the intonation a bit wrong on the last bit, but there we go.
It was extraordinary.
All the senses there.
I liked the pause to let them get their pencils, almost like you were rubbing it in that not everyone's got a Peerless 125.
No, the Peerless.
With Ruby.
Do you want to hear the Peerless writing?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, hold on.
I liked your impression of it earlier.
I don't want to cut. Here we
a bit
go.
more of the scripted section of the show.
Here we go. Oh.
Do you know what? That was so J.R. Hartley.
It's like a Radio 4 play, wasn't it?
Yes!
Fantastic.
It sounded like the man who was the BBFC signing the signature. You know, the British
Big
Board
Friendly Giant?
No! It's the film sense classification guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I imagine that's how he'd write his signature. I don't know.
Or Fred Quimby. Fred Quimby's signature
Yes.
looked a bit like that on the end of the Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you could make that reference, yeah.
Quimby! So they used to say, the fans.
I'll tell you who we need to talk about this morning. We've done Jeremiah Clarkson. We need to talk
Talented
about old
broadcaster.
TKM. Two Kitchens Milliband.
Ah, yes.
What about the kitchens? Did you see the pictures?
Well, we only saw one kitchen, didn't we?
We did. We saw one kitchen. because
Spartan, wasn't it? It was Spartan. I think we can agree that it was.
Yes, it was Spartan. But,
But the point is, they let the cameras in, but that's not their real kitchen. They've got two kitchens, haven't they? That's more like a utility room.
But why is it? Why is it that politicians think if they get photographed with a mug of tea, that makes a man of the people? That's all you need. A mug. Yes. I actually use a mug. I don't have a china saucer and cup. Oh well, I'll vote for you then. and hold on a minute, you got a round neck jumper on. You really are. You're me. You're essentially me.
Really normal guy.
I was suspicious the minute I saw that kitchen.
Were you?
I thought it looked disproportionately small for what I'm going to call a 2.5er.
£2.5 million house. Big house he's got.
It is, yeah.
That's why he can't find his Vic inhaler.
It is difficult finding small things in big houses.
It is.
I've got a large home. I couldn't find a watch recently. It took me about 3 weeks.
Well, as I said, I lost Boz for 48 hours. He was in the scullery.
Do you know that that's very fashionable now for celebrities?
Sculleries?
No, but 2
Losing
kitchens.
stuff.
I know someone, I won't name them.
Go on.
But he has 2 kitchens.
Okay.
A comic, yeah.
Oh, I know who you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all know who we mean.
Is it
Top
Jimmy
of the
Carr?
town. Yeah, everyone talks about his.
I mean, can we not
kitchens.
say? Oh, he's got 2 kitchens.
I think you've said it now.
Oh, sorry.
Everyone knows that.
I think one was paid for by nurses and the other one was paid for
Frank!
by the disabled. Anyway, it's fine. As long as he's enjoying them.
One of the Michael Gove's wife.
Oh, yeah.
She had a right go, didn't
She
she?
had a right old
To
go.
go from go.
She said,
Fine, really.
yeah, which was a little bit ironic, wasn't it? I think you'll find.
What did she say?
Well, she described it as forlorn. The kitchen,
Yeah.
the forlorn kitchen. That's very Bell Bainbridge
It
novel.
is. I'd love to read that book.
She said it was like proof that they were aliens as well.
Yes.
She was a bit unkind.
She was.
I thought.
This is Michael Gove's wife, who should be on.
She's
Yes.
a columnist for the Daily
The
Mail.
woman whose kitchen we paid for, may I remind you?
I bet she's got a big kitchen.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I told you, I saw him on a train. He got the biggest bottom I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, she didn't mention that in the article.
No, you couldn't put that on a kitchen stool. It'd be a terrible overlap.
Oh.
Is Michael Gove on Twitter? Does he have as his Twitter bio, loving my curves? Since 1980.
He's a Menage-like figure in British politics. He is. It's. I'm honestly on one of the biggest behinds I've seen on an otherwise slim person.
What about me? Is he more bootylicious than me?
Well, I'm thinking male, because women it's a bit different. You see, you know, it's sort of part of the deal with a lot of women is the
okay.
big behind, but with men it's quite unusual. I know there's the old big hammer, big nail theory, but I can't believe that's true of Michael Gove. But you never know, do
Oh
you?
my God! What have you said?
Oh, shall we play some?
What have you said?
What have you
Did
said?
I actually say that out loud?
Put the music on.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
We were just discussing what Jeremy Clarkson had on in his car when he did the Harry Redknapp through the window.
Well, we all had I thought possibly a little story about Jack and Diane.
What is
Of
that?
John Cougar Mellencamp.
Oh yeah,
What did you go for?
I think Queen probably. I can imagine him singing "Fat Bottom Girls" really out loud in a traffic jam.
Yes.
Bottom girls, they make this rockin' world go round. Can imagine that enormous face pressed against the windscreen. No room for that face in a car.
Massive face he's got.
I think there's
Thank God
money
for
in
that
that.
sunroof.
Now that's what I call Clarkson suspension. That CD.
Yeah.
See, look how old school I am with
What
my
do you
CDs.
think he'd listen to, Al?
There's got
Yeah.
to be some Bon Jovi or something like that, hasn't it?
Maybe.
Oh, he's Europe, isn't he? Come on.
Europe.
He's not even quite Bon Jovi.
Final Countdown.
Yes.
Definitely.
What about Brothers in Arms?
Oh, yeah, Dire Straits.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he loves a bit of Straits.
Or if he gets, I can imagine if he got a little bit plaintive, and I don't know if he has those quiet moments.
Oh, yeah.
Bit of Dido.
Wouldn't that be great if he did do the Redknapp interview and just drove off and you just heard Enya?
He might be. He might be.
Right.
Desiree, you gotta be. That's quite him.
Yeah.
You
Well,
gotta be. Oh, you know that one, Frank.
no, I'm just trying to pretend I do. Okay, don't beat me up about it. I don't know.
Oh, I've got it. What he is. Simply Red. Something got me started. I know.
Anyway,
Oh, I tell you what I wanted to talk about, which is not entirely off this topic, because I suspect Jeremiah has a friend with this name. Gary. Garys are going to be extinct.
yes.
Gary.
There were only 28 born in the UK last year.
How many people are born in the UK in a year?
I don't know, I'm afraid.
Today's
I haven't
texting.
taken a
What is
census
it?
recently.
Because
8
if,
to 12,
if there's
15.
say if there's
Don't ask things like that to us. We're idiots.
no, but if there's
Hey,
30, if there's 30 people born every year, then the name Gary is thriving.
Really, there aren't 30 people born.
I'm just doing some add-in. I'll add in. Yeah, about 400, I think.
400 a
That's
year
back of the
in
envelope
Britain.
maths. I'm guessing.
Well, listen, given that there used to be 38,000 of them at one point, I don't know if
Yeah,
that was in
Garys.
the UK though, but then, well, we used to be overrun with Garys,
yeah.
to be honest. But I believe it all started with Gary Cooper. He made the name popular. When would that have been, Frank? That's more your era.
Gary
40s.
Cooper got big, I think, maybe... certainly 40s. Maybe even around
Gary
like
Cooper?
30s.
But he wasn't even
Who
Gary.
changed his name from Alan?
From
no,
Alan?
not from Alan.
Alan
With a U
Cooper.
or an A?
Who changed his name from?
Frank.
Yeah. He was born a Frank.
Frank Cooper. He
Born
thought Gary was better. He was supposed to be the Hollywood star that the women found most irresistible, and he was never billed as a heartthrob, but he had that sort of awe, shocks, cowboy charm that they couldn't they couldn't resist.
Do you know what? I've never met a Gary I didn't like. And I'm not just saying that to suck up to Gary Lineker.
Well,
I am a bit.
I was once interviewed by Gary Bushell, so put that in your pipe and smoke. With 2 R's, actually. Gary Bushell. I like the way Gary normally, very willfully, only has 1 R.
Uh-huh.
You think it should be Gary, but no, it's called Gary. Needs 2 R's, but no, it won't do it.
He's a bit like Michael Gove, isn't he? He's gone big on the R's.
Yeah, he has. But it makes me very wary of him.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
What about James May? I think he's more of a...
I think secretly
yeah.
he might be playing the Smiths and stuff.
Oh.
And then he stopped on the car park. Clarkson, James, just a word. And he's changing it quickly to Motorhead.
Motorhead.
I've always felt, as you know, that he's their prisoner, James May, that he's
Yes.
actually a sensitive, nice man who wears floral shirts.
Well, he favours the QI shirt, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It will come up that he has essentially been a hostage. Mm-hmm. That will come out.
Yeah.
What are we talking about, Gary?
Yes.
Yeah, you see...
I'm not too worried about it disappearing. It's not like, it's not like the bespectacled... What's the spectacled bear? Do you know the spectacled bear?
No, what's the spectacle?
It's an endangered species. It's a bear that looks like it's wearing spectacles.
Right.
Oh.
And that's endangered. I'm more worried about that, even though it should be really the bespectacled bear.
Right.
Because you wouldn't say that someone was spectacled.
No.
So they haven't thought it through. And, they've lost the grammar and the alliteration.
Did you know there were only 17 Roys born in Britain last year, I believe?
I wonder why, but that
15
was...
kids.
Roy was... Keith?
Keith. Basically, I'm not being rude, Frank, but if you're related to Frank Skinner in any way, the chances are your name's about to be obsolete. Well, it's true, isn't it?
I'd rather be
Roy.
a Gary than a Keith.
Yeah, but you've got a Terry.
That'd be
Frank's
a
got a
lovely,
Terry as well.
Isn't that a Simon and Garfunkel
Rather
track?
be a Gary than a
I'd
Keith.
rather
It's a
be
football
a
champion.
Gary than a Keith. Yes, I would.
James May will be playing that, and then Clarkson will come along.
Exactly.
You say that, Al, but those in glass houses, that's all I'm saying. You don't get many Allens born
Not
these
with a
days.
U.
Is that right?
No.
Alan with a U.
Yeah.
You just don't get many babies called Alan, do you?
It's hard to think of a baby called Alan, isn't it?
All right, and a baby Keith is really easier to think of, is
It's
it?
easier. I can imagine saying, let's go and get baby Keith
Baby
from his
Keith.
cradle. Yeah, and we'll get baby Alan as well. What do you mean,
Yeah.
baby Alan? Is that businessman who wears the nappy?
And carries that
Extra
gold
baby
pen.
Roy.
What about Gary?
Uh-huh.
As in that ginger stuff you get in sushi bars. That's called Gary, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah, you know that sort of pink, thinly sliced
That's
ginger.
not called Gary, is it?
Yeah, that's
You
what
think
it's
sure?
Salmon. Oh.
No,
Ginger.
that ginger.
No, that's called Terry.
No, it's called Gary.
I'm just going through your family.
I've heard that. I thought it was all talk.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in from 388. That's it. I found my dog's name. Long live Gary.
Can I call it Long Live Gary?
No, I think they probably mean that they're going to call the dog Gary, and
Oh,
therefore
okay.
the name Gary will live for longer than it would have otherwise. Is that what they...
Well, they don't live that long.
they
That'll go building your hopes
Well, I'll
up.
tell you what, it's taken a sombre turn, hasn't it? I bet they didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's where Gary's gone. It's been accelerated by dog years. Its disappearance. But that stuff, the ginger stuff, Gary, I need to clear that you know what the stuff I'm talking about.
Right.
You get when you go for a sushi, like you get to Yo Sushi.
Oh, what, on the
something.
Japanese food?
Yeah, so you get the green hot stuff, the wasabi, and then you get the pink sliced stuff.
It looks like soft pencil shavings.
Yes, that's Gary.
I see it, I remove it, and I go. I don't like it.
It's ginger.
Gary with a Y or an I?
Sliced with an I. It's a Japanese thing.
Gary.
They're not big on the Y at the end.
They're not.
They have an I at the end. They don't want a Y at the beginning. They're fine with that. Y at the end? No.
Not so much so.
No. I nearly did the voice, but I didn't. So everything's all right.
Why not?
Well, yeah. That's why, because it's ginger, that's why you get Gary Halliwell. That's where she got her name from, with an I. I went to register when we registered Boz. I took Boz Cody, his name's on. We took him, and the woman said, "Nice and easy to spell." And I said, "Yeah, it wasn't really my motivation, but true." She said, "You'd be amazed how many people I get coming here, and they say, yeah, we'd like to call it, Constance." And they say, "Are you spelling that?" And they go, "Ooh."
They don't know. They just make it up.
Hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. I
always said someone with real self-awareness, "How are you spelling that?" Incorrectly, I think. Should we go for incorrectly, Dave? Yeah. Go for incorrectly. But yeah, so...
what if she then said, all right, I-N-C-O-R-R...
Yeah, well, that would be confusion.
Very difficult.
In the age of Google, shouldn't be any...
I miss the Martins, Frank.
The Martins?
It was a great show. Or do you mean since they moved that bird sanctuary down the road?
That's what I mean.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
So I did Celebrity Squares this week.
Did you? To time with your 70s pen?
Yeah.
Did they give you a cheque? They pay you with a cheque?
They gave me a pen, actually. They gave me a pen as well. It wasn't up there with the 125, but it was...
yeah, well, we all know the 125 is peerless, don't we?
Except for the other 124 people that got it.
It's got...
or is it 224? I can never remember. Is it peerless 125?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's not that complicated, is it? I mean, for God's sake.
So touchy about that pen. Anything to do with that pen.
I find it easy, but I am Aladdin, so it's not that difficult.
Yeah, so I was centre square, which is the ultimate accolade.
You keep going on about that centre square.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
At one part as well, the set is slightly creaky, and we did think the whole thing was going to come down at one point. No. I was fairly confident I'd have got top billing. If we'd all perished.
Can I ask you, what is the structure? I've always wondered that, and I might actually come down to the next show you do. Is it like a series of...
I don't do it regularly, I was just a guest.
Oh, okay. Is it step ladders at the back?
Well, it's ladders. it isn't like you know the way on the University Challenge, they put them on top of each other, but they aren't really.
Are you actually on top?
Literally on top.
No.
I was above Ryland.
Were you?
Yeah. What do you think about this? Now, I'd like to ask your professional judgment on this. Rylan was asked a question about a German word, which is handy. If someone gave you a handy in Germany. Yes. Anyway, he said a high five, and it was wrong. And I said, I don't think high fives are very popular in Germany. Now, do you think that'll get in, or do you think that'll be considered a bit...
Of course it won't get in.
Oh, okay. I feared you might say that. I was quite pleased with it, but someone said to me after that won't get in.
So have you just been on centre square once?
Yes. How many times have you been on centre square?
And then, no, I'm just saying, and you made that joke.
Yes.
Okay.
You think I won't be asked back? I think
I'm just saying
right. I didn't say any more. I left it to the audience.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, don't wait by the phone.
No, okay, I won't do that. You don't have to do that, really, in the age of the mobile. Thank you so much for listening this morning. It's great to have the whole gang back together. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.